You're listening to the podcast where we talk about life, sports, family, and everything in between. Welcome to Just Talking Out Loud with your hosts, Ron and Terry.
Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Ron.
And I'm Terry.
As we are broadcasting live from our basement.
Our extra bedroom.
Our extra bedroom where we've set up, I don't know.
A makeshift
studio. This is a studio with a lot of blankets, but it's working because I'm not getting a lot of
feedback.
Like I'm not bleeding into your mic. It's not bouncing. It looks awful, but
could we do this in the sunroom?
Oh yeah. Well, with this,
yeah,
you could if we had to. Anyway, so we got a lot to talk about, but life sometimes changes the direction of what you want to talk about, and unfortunately, sad news. Now, when this is going to be broadcast,
a week or two old.
Our son and daughter-in-law's dog, Aneka, a husky, a beautiful white with one blue eye, one brown eye, is 12 years old, and all of a sudden she just
quit eating. She
wasn't feeling good. She wasn't herself. And they did lots and lots and lots of tests. Blood, they even had to give her blood. They kept her overnight. And they thought they had her on the right path, but it wasn't, from what I understand, it's not cancer. But she wasn't feeling good, so they are putting her down. And at this broadcast, she would have been put down. And it's tough because, I am not, I've said it many times, I'm not a dog person, but I feel bad when something like this happens because you see the connection. You understand the connection that people have with their pets. And it doesn't matter what the pet is. In this case, it just happened to be a white fur dog that just,
husky.
She left
She's
her mark.
gorgeous.
Yeah, she is. She was a beautiful dog. She had so I guess this first part is just going to be like a little memorial to her. Because she was, she was our, I hate to say this, because like I said, I'm not
I'm not a granddad to them dogs.
Yeah, she was the first one. She was brought into this house as the kids were getting married, about a month out, and they got the dog. And she was a free spirit, man. We tried all kinds of different things with her.
We tried sand in the sandbox so she wouldn't dig, and she dug up my lavender bush, 3 times, and then I just said, forget it, threw it over the hill.
Well, she ended up having sand all through her, and Lexi said, we're not doing that again.
I remember they were coming home, putting her in the laundry tub to bath her all the time because she was all sandy.
Yeah, and then, when we got to the house, she tore up the one floor, the wooden floor. She
when
just
they
kept
moved
scratching
out,
at it. It was a wooden. And we had to, replace that. But she was unique because she would look for chips. I always remember feeding her chips, and I tried to give her a non-brand. She knew the difference between a brand
and
potato chip and like if you would do an off-brand, like a Giant Eagle or a Lay's, she knew.
She would not eat the off-brand.
Would not. No, she would not. She had a unique personality. She liked to be.
And she'd talk back, and she loved Uncle Ralph.
Oh, yeah, she'd go, woo, Yeah, and then she'd like to be by herself, because even Nathan would say there's been times.
As she got older,
she wanted to be on her own. And even here at the pool, we'd have like 3 or 4 other dogs besides her. And
she'd be like, put me on the runner. I'm going up in the shade away from all this chaos down here.
And she was the best one to have, because she wasn't one that was going to chase after anything.
And she quit digging as she got older.
Yeah. And she just would sit there and watch us.
You just see
as
her
we're watching her
flying in the wind.
Oh, man. Yeah, you'd go over to their house after they brushed her in the front yard. You thought it was a snowstorm going on up there. But we're going to miss her for sure. And I think that's one of the things that, we've had dogs. We had Ranger, and then Rigby was here for a short time, my youngest son's dog. And I understand the connection. Aneka loved to run. Lexi was a runner, still is, and she loved to go on those runs. And as of lately, she didn't want to do anything.
Rigby loves to run too.
And all the dogs have a huge different. I mean, they're all different, obviously, but you've got the nutball Rigby, and then you've got kind of the easygoing, just give me something to eat Titus. And then you had Aneka that was she was stunning.
But you know what? When she was young, when we got Rigby's going to be 7 now. She was only 5, 6 years old, and she put up with him jumping all over her. Remember, he bite at her mane, and it had fur everywhere, and she just put up with him, and she'd run back and forth and let him jump all over her. And then, like, within 2 years later, she would growl at him like, I'm done playing your little puppy games. I'm just too old for this now.
Yeah, you knew when she was done, too.
Oh, yeah, and he learned. He learned she's going to snip at me. I guess I got to leave her alone, but, you know.
And then lately, the last couple of years, we've never really had any issues with all the dogs.
Oh, no, whenever he sees her, if she gives him the little, then he just leaves her alone, and she just goes up on her runner and lays in the shade.
I think Titus irritated more than Rigby did.
Yeah, these last few.
And then
picnics,
Cricket, Janet, your sister's dog, was a pain in the butt because she kept following her around and she didn't want to be followed.
Yeah, Aneka just didn't want to be bothered. Yeah.
But this is our little homage to Aneka, who is going to hold a special place in our heart.
Yeah,
she'll be.
That was Lexus's wedding present from Nathan, and she was in their wedding and everything. So she's gone on vacation most years with them and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Sam stayed with her a couple vacations, and
then they got the one. What do you call that? The service dog.
Yeah,
and then she was able to come to our resort the last couple of years. She wasn't much of a beach dog. She didn't really care for it. She wasn't. I mean, think about it.
They took her and she laid there, but she
was so
like
hot.
She looked like she was dying.
She's in this giant fur white coat, thinking, "What have you done to me?" But she did. She sat there, and she wasn't maybe the happiest.
Titus wouldn't even walk on the sand the one year because it was too hot on his paws.
Yeah, it's. But she's going to hold a special place for sure in our hearts. I don't know. I know we put down Ranger. Ranger was the very first dog that I ever had because I never had dogs. And some people say, well, when you get a dog, that kind of changes you. No, it doesn't. It doesn't change me. But I mean, I always like dogs. I just like them to be in somebody else's house.
I've never gotten another one since Ranger because of putting him down. It just
no, you didn't get another one because I don't want another dog in the house.
It killed me to put him down.
It's tough.
Yeah,
and you've done it before. It's not just Ranger. You've had other dogs in your life that you've had to
put down.
You were younger.
Get rid of. Yeah.
And it's especially this decision. It's not I can't imagine it being an easy decision.
Well, when you're going to spend more money than the dog's worth, like every 3 months, that just kind of.
Well, age obviously comes into play.
Yeah.
Huskies usually live 12 to 14 years. She's 12 years old. She just turned 12 here, March something.
Ranger 3rd. Was 15, but he was having seizures. And then we would up the medicine, and it would help for a day. And then he would say, and then at the end, he was like having them every hour. And he sometimes would lose his continence all over. And I had to go back to school. And I was like, I'm not leaving him in the laundry room to sit in his pee and poop all day. So it was just, okay, well, let's pick a day. We're going to take him in. And the boys were going to go in with me. And I said, if you guys, they were all sad. And I'm like, don't start crying because I won't be able to do this then. So they ended up sitting in the car while I went in. And I had to hold him down because he was blind and deaf and everything by then. And he didn't know their smell. So he wouldn't really let them mess with him unless I was holding him.
Well, I think it comes down to just saying anything. You always talk about quality of life. And if
he had none,
some of the treatments for Aneka would have been almost $4,000, and there's no guarantee
that'll help
that would even really work. She is 12. They really didn't know what.
Yeah, and if you put $4,000 in and she only feels better for a month, that's like a lot of money to spend for then put her down in a month later.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I know that in their hearts they wanted to do everything they could, and they did. I mean, they spent. even before all the what they thought they might have to do with the transfusions and stuff. I think they were looking at it. Hey, we're going to do whatever we can, but then you start looking at what.
Well, and I don't know if they gave them chances like that. Maybe they gave them a chance. This might help her for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah,
and that's probably possible. All it's going to help her, and she's going to need another one. Well, then are you going to put $4,000 every 3 to 6 months into her? I don't know who has the money to do that.
I think you hit it on the money. I mean, and I know with
and you can get a new husky for $2,000 probably.
Yeah, but it's do you? That's the question we've asked. You think they'll get another one? I don't. I mean, I'm sure they will in time because they love their dog, but. Sometimes you don't always get what with Rigby. Rigby is just unique. I mean, he has separation anxiety, although it's a little bit better now that he's 7, 8, whatever he is now. A little bit. You know what I mean? He's not as bad.
He didn't howl when they left him. Oh, that's because we picked him up and brought him home.
He's just a unique, he was right from the beginning. I'm not sure.
He was crazy when he was a puppy.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He was just like all over the place.
He was a house dog. He seemed more like a farm dog. He's a beagle. He's part beagle. He's part German Shepherd, right?
And he's part
collie.
Border collie.
Border collie.
I think that's where he gets his smarts because collies and German Shepherds are very smart. So most beagles are just hunting, like, you know what I mean? They have hunting instincts, and so they're very instinctive. And he has that hunting instinct, though, too, because he, like, lifts his paw and his tail goes up. And his nose goes out like he points, like a pointer beagle. And he's a lot bigger than a beagle. And so when he does that, like, and I'm walking, I have to grab him with both hands and say, no, Grandma's not going in the woods. Grandma's not going hunting. Because he's got that instinct with the smarts of, like, he opens doors, he opens cupboards, he gets into things. He just, when he gets bored, he's broken out of his cage. And
he's a magician. He actually, Terry and I went over to, when we went to pick him up, he does not like to be caged up. He does. And so we ended up we bought this fence that you can put into different configurations, if you will. And so we got it from one wall to another, and we gave him an area as he comes in because he's destroyed their basement with mud because we have a doggy door, and he's destroyed. So we put this gate up, and it seems to be working so far. But Terry and I had to. What happened was Christmas. They wanted to make sure he was okay. It was so cold. It was bitter, bitter cold, and they wanted to put him in a cage. And I don't know if. Was that comfort? I'm going to call it a comforter.
They put it over top of
to kind of keep it dark.
Because that's what he did when he was a puppy. He crated him all the time. Every time he went to class, he crated him because that was the rule at the apartment he was at. They had to be crated when you weren't there. So he had always put a blanket over him. He would think it was bedtime and he would lay down and go to sleep. So he tried that Christmas Day thinking, well, we'll put him in the crate and we'll put the blanket over him. He'll lay down and go to sleep. Well, he pulled that blanket through where the latch slides. He got the latch over and then he pulled it through like to hold it over, but he pulled it so tight you couldn't move the blanket out of there. And then all he had to do is dig at the bottom latch, pop the door open, and he was out within 10 minutes. He was out of that crate.
And she says how he wedged that comforter, and this is a thick comforter
from a bed.
It's a comforter,
and the slat is not even an inch thick.
He got it through the cage itself. Is big. It's a big cage. But the holes are fairly
it's
small.
like only an inch thick, if that.
I mean to tell you, it took everything we had to get it.
You were pushing with your thumbs while I pulled, and it was just like
I'd never seen anything like it.
It took us 20 minutes, half an hour to get
bending the.
And we actually bent it, but it did bend back. I think the crate could be used. But unless you can find a way to lock those slide things over, he already knows. He knows now how to get out of there. He's going to get out of there every time now.
He's done being locked up. But enough talking about Rigby. It's not about Rigby.
It's Aneka's.
This is about Aneka. And we both are going to say to Aneka, we're going to miss you.
Yes.
We love you very much, and we wish that we could have had another 12 years with you, but you have made a lot of great memories and a lot of pictures of your just beautiful white coat and that blue and brown eye.
And how she talks to people. Oh.
Yes, you would always talk, and especially to Ralph, my brother-in-law. But we're gonna take a break. That's our little homage to Aneka. Rest in peace, our sweet little. I hate to say it, but I'll say granddog.
Yes, my granddog. I always claimed him as granddogs.
But we are going to miss you, and so that's our first part. I had a lot more we're going to talk about, but I wanted to say something about her because that's how life is. Sometimes you get into some things, and if you're going through a tough time, maybe you have to put a pet down. My heart goes out to you because I know how special they are to people. Sometimes that's all they have.
Yeah, is
their pets, and so yeah. Anyway, all right. So we're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about Florida, what happened to this guy in Florida, and some other things about retirement. I don't know. I'm kind of skip around a little bit because it kind of threw me off, but we'll have something for you, and we'll be back in just a minute. So you want to start a podcast, maybe you're listening to the show today and you're thinking to yourself, boy, that would be fun, and I have a lot of things I want to talk about. Maybe today is the day. Maybe you're looking for a new marketing channel, or you have a message that you'd like to share with the world, or you just think it would be fun to have a talk show. Now, it is a lot of fun just talking to your friends. Maybe you have ideas about sports, life, or whatever your passion is. Today's the day. Podcasting is easy, it's inexpensive, and it's a fun way to expand your reach online. And where should you go? Buzzsprout. It's hands down the easiest, and it's the best way to launch, promote, and track your podcast. And your show, believe it or not, can be online and listed in all the major podcast directories in minutes, like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and you wouldn't believe how many more there are. And they make it simple to join all of them. Podcasting is not hard when you have the right partners, and Buzzsprout is the team to join. They are passionate about your success. You can join over 1,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout. We're one of them. We've been on Buzzsprout from the beginning, and I'm so glad I joined up. I had a little bit of an issue, emailed a customer service rep, and they got back to me within 5 minutes, and they had me calm down. It wasn't that hard, and what I was doing was my fault. So here's all you got to do. Click on the link in the show notes. It tells Buzzsprout we sent you. You can support our show, and if you get a paid plan, you get a $20 gift certificate from Amazon. Now, here's some other things that Buzzsprout provides. Like, you get a great-looking podcast website. Now, a lot of people think, I got to get a website, got to pay for that. No, you don't. They provide it for you. Also, they have audio players. Maybe you have a website, and all you want to do is promote your show on your own website. You can do that with their audio players, and you can also drop it into other websites and on Facebook or Twitter, and they help you do it all. Believe me, Buzzsprout is the way to go. They've helped me immensely, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. So maybe today is a day for you to start your podcast. And if you do, check out the link below in the show notes and get a $20 Amazon gift card. Welcome back to the show. I'm Ron.
I'm Terry.
And Terry didn't want to... I took the last Kleenex out of the box, and...
I didn't want to share.
Terry didn't want to share my boogers. I don't understand. We share everything else. I don't understand what the big deal is. I've shared yours when I'm stuck, and that's all I have. And they're all balled up and all crunchy. I've found a corner.
I don't have anything dripping out of my nose at the moment.
Right there. Terry, listen to this. So now Terry lived in Florida. No, you didn't.
I was born in Florida.
You were born
in
Florida,
for 6 months in Florida.
6 months, okay. Now, of course, with
I
Florida...
don't remember it.
Right. You probably don't remember a lot. But I saw this story, and I thought it was kind of interesting because my mother-in-law just got back from Florida. And this guy had heard some rumbling on his front porch. So he thought somebody was at the door. Well, yeah, something was at the front door, a 9-foot alligator.
Yep, a gator. I was going to say gator.
And it got him. It lunged at him.
Really?
Yeah. Now, he didn't know at the time Scott Hollingsworth is his name. He opened the front door about 9:40 p.m. This is down around Daytona Beach. And he heard a noise, right? And something, as he opened the door, something grabbed his leg and started shaking. Now, he thought, because it was 9:40, so it was kind of dark. It was dark. He thought it was a dog at first. And obviously, once he got a better look, he realized at that time, he thought it was a 6-foot or 7-foot gator. When he called to make the call, he actually got away, closed the door, and the gator was still at the front door when the wildlife official showed up. And he said, thankfully, other than a gash, he's okay. He wanted to do bike week, but he said, I'm not going to be able to do that because pretty thick gash in his leg. But when the officers came here, this gator was 9 feet long. And they were saying that how lucky he was.
Oh, it could have swallowed him whole.
I mean, if they could have pulled him
a whole leg off.
Yeah. I mean, and this is just another reason I don't live in Florida. That's just one of the many reasons why I don't go there. That's crazy. That is just crazy. And you hear about stories not just like that, but you hear stories like people. I think it was a lady was walking her dog. Now, why she was walking her dog so close to like this little ravine? Is that what
ravine.
They have those certain places like your grandmother had.
Yeah, well, that used to all be swampland. Where my grandmother
it is a swampland.
When you were down there,
yeah,
that was all. No, it was completely swamps. You know how they had like cement pillars to keep that water in?
Yeah.
Well, that was all like swamp, and it would go shallower. And whenever I was a little kid, when you drove out that way, there was a road, and there was swamp on that side of the road. And then they made it into neighborhoods. They dug big ditches and put all the swampland and put cement pillars and cement around it so that the water will stay in place. And they built subdivisions around it. And there were gators in between the houses.
Well, anyway, I just can't imagine, open your front door and there's an alligator.
Yeah, I wonder what makes him get get
that close.
And was he that hungry that he?
I mean, was there? Yeah, it's like doesn't say. Like, was there a garbage can on the porch?
When my grandmother lived in that neighborhood, when RJ was little, Aunt Barb and him were watching the gator. It went from one cement thing to another all the way across the neighborhood every morning, and they would watch it with the binoculars and they would watch it go and get into the, the other, whatever you want to, lagoon or whatever you want to call it. And then it would get out and come this way. And it never bothered anyone. But now I wouldn't have left my little dog out in the yard at that time of day because I'm afraid he might have bothered it then. But
if you wouldn't think that you would tie your dog up to the backyard where those are right there. I mean, not that you may not think you have one, but they could. Alligators will... And
they're fast. They're a lot faster than you think they are.
They're quick. And he, like you said, he lunged. That gator lunged at his leg and got his leg. So it must have been fairly close to the door. As he opened the door and it lunged. Yeah. But he's okay. He's fine. He just said that he's not going to be able to do bike week. I guess we probably missed bike week. I don't know when Daytona Bike Week is, but it might be now. As a matter of fact.
It's pretty soon because Tim used to go.
Or no, it might have been. So when this airs, it might have been the week before.
Tim.
He used to go down, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Went for it.
Just to go get some. Just to go get some warm weather. A lot of people at work are going down to Florida and trying to get some of that vitamin D. And when your mom's come back, the weather's been pretty good up here.
Yeah, she brought some good weather with her. I hope it stays.
We've had a very mild winter for sure. Don't you think?
We had a few.
Other than Christmas.
Even in fall, we had a couple of days that were 17 degrees, though. We had some cold spells.
Yeah, we haven't had snow, and it hasn't been, lately
it's
been in the 50s.
We haven't had a lot of snow. And,
so you can't beat that for February. What we had for February, it wasn't bad at all. So anyway, that's just, if you're in Florida, you might want to get a ring. And then if you look outside and you see a gator, don't answer the door. Right?
Yeah.
Don't answer the door. Because he's there for something. Call animal control. Let them take care of their. Oh, by the way, the alligator was euthanized, so he's gone. He's out. Maybe it's because it was. Is that because it would be because he came that far in,
Yeah,
he probably wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, why? It's like,
Why?
A lot of wild animals won't come right up in that, but if they're starting to do that, there might be a reason, or
Yeah. Do you have, as you're getting older? Now, my signature has gotten really bad as I've gotten. Well, it's always been bad.
I would say it's always been bad.
Okay, thanks. There's actually a new kind of cosmetic surgery, sort of. It is actually, people are hiring a calligrapher to have a fresh take on writing their name in cursive. Now, what's sad is we're not even teaching cursive in school anymore.
Oh, I doubt we are at all.
Now, I don't know how
computers.
that's going to work, because you still got to sign a check, right? I mean, checks are still going to be around, I think.
Well, you have to sign your name when you withdraw from the bank.
When you buy a car,
yeah,
you got to sign your name.
And when you buy a house, you have to have your signature on certain things.
I don't understand how we are getting away. Well, we're getting away from basics anyway.
Oh,
we're teaching our kids everything but what they need to really know. We really are. But anyways, getting away, I don't want to get into all that, because that's a whole nother podcast in itself, talking about our schools and what should be teaching and we're not teaching. Just basics. Whatever happened to just basic learning? But anyway, so some people are actually hiring a calligrapher. And it's funny. A lot of these people actually make pretty decent money. Priscilla Molina is in Los Angeles, and she does a minimum of 300 custom signatures a month. And the packages include, you get 3 ways to sign, limitless drafts, or a new set of initials. I don't know exactly what that means. She charges between $10 to $55, using the motto, where originality meets legacy. And she said she's done like professionals. She's worked with clients that are professionals, famous people, because they want new ways to sign their autograph. And she doesn't tell who's actually changed. Now, here's what she does. Apparently, she'll give you this template, so you could learn how to rewrite
your name
if you're not happy, and if you don't like it, she'll change it. And I mean, that's the price wise is not too bad. But yeah, if you want to change your signature, if you're not happy with it, then just find a calligrapher. They're all over on TikTok, and you'd be surprised how many people actually do it. And so, yeah, I thought that was interesting too, because, my cursive is not great. I wish I would have spent more time in school learning to be a little more, because my Frank's is just really, it's not Frank's. It looks like, if you really look at it. Even my
That's
Ronald.
how doctors write, though, too. So
That's true.
And I think they do that so
true.
no one can copy their signature.
Well,
the messier, the better, and it has to have a loop in a certain place. That's how they know, hey, that's not my signature.
Well, they're not going to be able to copy mine.
There's no 2 humps and a loop,
Yeah. Yeah, there's not going to. Yours, you got a nice, your T is really cool how you're.
I just changed mine because I did not have good handwriting. In handwriting, I failed handwriting class, and my sister used to have me right over top of hers, and she'd take the paper away, and mine would be just as bad. When she took the paper away, it would be just as bad as it ever was. So tracing it did not help me learn how to write my signature. And after a while, I just changed my T to a straight, and without the loops on the top and stuff. And that way, it's just straight in it.
So
and
naturally,
for me, it looks better.
If you were going to write a letter, would you write it in cursive?
I don't know. Sometimes I print, sometimes I write, sometimes it might end up both.
Because I don't even know if I could.
Half.
If I could do it, because you don't do cursive a lot. Other than signing my name, I don't write a lot of things out, because now, like you said, computers have taken over where we type everything in.
For a while we were doing our grocery list. We just set it into our phones.
That's
what
true.
happened to that app?
I don't know what happened to that app. Yeah, it's true.
When
we
we switched phones, it must not have been an updated app, but we did
we
grocery list.
Alexa,
and she would add it to our grocery list. Yeah.
And I don't know.
I missed that because we all three had it on our phone. And when Zachary was working at the grocery store, he could just bring home what was on our grocery list for us. And it was nice because I wasn't running to the store a lot.
Exactly. That's real nice. Well, it's not just that. If you forget your list, because we'd always seem to forget our list.
Then you had it.
And you always had it on your phone. I'm sure there's other ones we could use, but that one you could use Alexa and it would automatically add, bread added to your list. I'm just wondering, you don't know if you'd write, like if you were writing a letter, like, or when you do the cards, when you do the kids' birthday cards, do you write in cursive or do you print?
I write in cursive.
See? So it's natural. I don't even know if I could figure out what some of the letters would look like because I haven't done it in so long. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff I do here.
We did it we did it from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade. In 6th grade, you had to write a letter and then you had to write one at the end of the year and it had to improve. And they don't do that. I don't think they do that starting 3rd to 6th grade anymore.
I don't think so. They say they're not teaching cursive, what I understand. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong,
I haven't been in the grade school for a while, so I don't know. But
I just, to me, if we're going to talk about it, let's start. To me, cursive is something that should be taught. We should be teaching. These kids
can't even print their name
when
they sign in.
Yeah.
I mean, they sign in for me, and I have to figure out whose name
These are
it
7th grade, 6th, 7th, 8th.
6th, 7th, and 8th, and some of them can't print their name, let alone write their name. And I tell them, write your full name, and they'll write Rob and go down the hall.
Yeah. That's just, a lot of it is just pure laziness.
And they can't, right?
Have you seen the laziness? We saw it the other day we're at Walmart parking lot, and the buggy cage, if you will,
is right there. They parked it next to it on the outside.
It right. You can't take 3 steps and put it in the
cage so that it won't run away through to someone's car.
You're too freaking lazy. You set it right there beside it. Just laziness, pure and simple laziness.
People are in too big of a hurry to get
it's
3
steps. And in the meantime, that buggy takes off because the wind has been wicked around here. And the buggy takes off and hits your brand new freaking car. Oh, that's right. And something hit our car, and it just irritates. That's why I don't like buying new cars, because it's just like, why? What do I, Diane was saying she parks the furthest away she can, and then whenever she comes out, there's always somebody around her. It just doesn't matter.
Well, I remember when Nicole got her first new car, someone took the keys to it, like put them in between their fingers and did it on purpose, went right all the way down the side of her car.
It just,
to deface someone's property like that is awful.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's, what was talking about cursive. I think we're not teaching enough of the house. What's it? Home ec.
Oh, yeah.
We're not doing home ec.
The schools are cutting
all that out.
I know some of the schools are cutting art and music, and
what are we doing now?
Home ec.
Esports. So we're taking away basic teachings of how to make toast, how to make eggs, how to just be,
now
just
esports is not going to be like a class, I don't think, but it's a club after school, like Odyssey and like all these things that they put into, it's a competition. It's like it's like an esports. Yeah, it's like your football team. You're going to have an esports team.
But the thing is, you are taking something away to add that. So you're taking away a basic skill that our kids need to learn how to do. And you're taking that away, but you're adding a phone, if you will, or a game.
It's an after-school curricular activity.
But why can't we do both? Why can't we have the basics of teaching them how to change a tire, how to check the oil in case there's an issue, how to fill it, or how to add air to a tire? Some of this falls on parents too, though.
We never learned that. Although if you took driver's safety, a lot of times the driver's safety teacher would go over some of that basic stuff with you. I know when I took driver's safety, we did a little, but not a lot. We mostly did time in the car driving around.
Or that... what's that called?
Yeah.
I hate when I can't think what I want. What's a
simulation driving.
Simulation.
Yeah. And but like, yeah, I was very disappointed when the school got rid of home ec. And I know, like, Zachary's school, where he was at, they remodeled the home ec room and then couldn't find a teacher and ended up getting rid of it.
Okay, well, there's probably that too, where there's not maybe a lot of teachers that are going to school for that. I don't know how that works.
And you know why? Because a lot of the music teachers and art teachers were afraid, and a lot of the home ec teachers went and got their art degree too, or got their other ones because they're afraid their school's going to cancel it. And guess what? When they cancel it, they have to have something else, or they're out of a job.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be multi, right? You can't just do one thing sometimes.
And PA is trying to make it so you have to have a 4-year degree in each one. Like if you want a physics, if you want to take the physics praxis, you have to have a 4-year degree in physics.
Right.
If you want to take math, you have to have a 4-year degree in math. If you want to take the history one, you have to have a 4-year degree instead of learning your basic teaching methods. And this,
so if you're a math teacher,
teaching, and then like you could be a natural history buff. Maybe you just always liked history. All you have to do is study for that history praxis and go in and take it, and then you could have that under your belt too. Well, that's what I'm trying to get Zachary to go and take his physics, because he took all those physics classes.
If you're a math teacher and you want to be a social studies teacher, whatever, you'd have to take another 4 years, basically.
That's what they're trying.
The way they want it.
That's the way they want to make it. Right now, in the next few years, if you go study and take the praxis, you can be multi-certified. But like this next generation of teachers, they're trying to pass it that you have to have a 4-year degree for everything you teach. Which if you have experience in that, maybe you spend your summers doing something, that qualifies you, then go take the test. And if you can pass it, I don't see anything wrong with being multi-certified, especially these little schools. If you're from a little school and you only have a handful of students that maybe want like physics and AP physics and AP calc and stuff like that. Well, if you're certified in 2 or 3 things, then you could teach that handful of students, the high-level students, right, all of those classes, and offer them all where they might not be able to get it if one teacher's not certified, because they can't afford to have 3 teachers.
Yeah.
Pay 3 teachers for, one class. You'd have to teach something else,
I didn't really want to get on the school thing because it is frustrating, because these kids, you want them to get a good education, but I don't know. I don't know that they're actually getting it. But anyway, so we're going to change subjects to balloons. Lately we've been shooting down balloons. You've heard these stories, haven't you?
Mm-mm.
Where you been, on a rock? You haven't heard these stories? We've been shooting down balloons. We had to shoot down a few balloons because China had their surveillance balloons, and we let them go all over pretty much. And so it cost, in case you're wondering how much it cost us to
shoot them down.
To shoot them down, it was $1.9 million, because apparently we have ways to actually, they wanted to shoot it over the ocean. So it ended up being this big, because it wasn't a small balloon. It was like a surveillance balloon. At least that's what they're telling us. And so they let it go and take all its information all the way to the, so it's getting all the information while they're watching it, waiting for it to get over somewhere where there wasn't people. Where I heard that you could actually, they have where it attaches to the balloon and you can bring it down yourself. There's some kind of, NASA does something, and you didn't have to do all that. But apparently we needed to blow it up because it's all theater. And it cost us $1.9 million to shoot down this balloon. And you didn't have to use a jet fighter on the mission. There were other ways to do it, but that's what they did. So if you're wondering how much it costs to blow up those balloons, there's your tax dollars being used for whatever. From now on, Terry, whenever we go out, I was going to ask you if you can introduce me as not just your husband, but a professional golfer. And the reason I say that is because, I play golf on my video game. So anyway, this is going to sound really strange, but a man who is not a pilot posted on Reddit that he was upset with his wife because she did not introduce him as a pilot during a party with her coworkers. Apparently, the fact that he has spent thousands of dollars on flight textbooks and flight sim games and gear, has over 500 hours on simulators, makes him a pilot in his own mind. And so he was upset because his wife did not introduce him as a pilot. That'd be like me playing golf once in a blue moon on my PlayStation, thinking that I was a professional golfer.
At least
I tried to.
That.
Now, he put this on Reddit, and some people are saying he's just a real jerk. The man argues that he deserves to be called a pilot because of his passion and knowledge, while the wife thinks he's being completely ridiculous. And I would probably take the latter in that because, yeah, he's done all these things.
Go to flight school.
Go to flight school. Then
pilot's license.
If you've done all these things.
If you put all that into it, you might as well just pay the $1,000 or whatever it is to go to flight school. You have to have so many flying hours, though, in the air to be a pilot. Yes,
you have to take the test and do all the things that you have to do. A friend of mine who I used to work with was an instructor, and he took me up in, it was actually my very first plane ride. He took me up in this small plane, and he was telling me all these things, and he made it look so easy, but I know that he was, in his, like he would look over here and he'd say, look over there, there's your house. He flew by our house, and he made it seem like it was easy, but he had his, he knew all the instruments. Obviously he's an instructor, but he made it comfortable. I felt comfortable, even though I was a nervous wreck. I should have wore a diaper that day because I'm just thinking, never been in a plane,
lose it, yeah.
Even though I trust him, you just never know. I mean, when it's your time, it's your time. It could happen anytime. But he is the actual pilot. This guy has simulators. If he's got 500 hours on simulators, and he
may have all his simulator time done.
Right.
And then you could go up and do so many hours in the air. I know you have to have so many hours in the air.
Some of that, though, could have been that, you have to do it while you're under supervision with these simulators.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't be hard for him if he's done it.
Yeah.
I would think. So, if you just have a passion for something and you want to be called that, then I guess we could all be just what we want to be.
Be called a technician just because you have a passion for technical things.
Maybe you're a professional dancer, Terry. You were in the you did some I want to say acrobatics. It's not acrobatics. Gymnastics. So you were a professional gymnastic because you could do the uneven bars. Was that what it was?
That's what I liked the best.
The uneven bars. So there, you're a professional. So next time,
I'm
going to next time on the show, I'll introduce you as my gymnast wife, Terry. How's that? And you can introduce me as
and I
the
can't
professional
do any
golfer.
of it now. 3 back surgeries later.
Yeah, it's we've noticed as we get older, boy, there's some things we cannot do. That is for sure. Last thing for you, Terry's getting ready to retire. She's thinking about retiring. So they have the 5 best late life careers according to experts. So if you're thinking about
a new career,
I
could do a new career.
We're going to be babysitting. We have another little one on the way. We're just really excited. I didn't think I was going to have one. I thought I was only going to have granddogs. Really pains me to say granddogs, but I said it. I just don't, feel that. I have a connection with the dogs, but not that. So I never thought we'd have a grandchild. Now we have one, and maybe the second one's on the way. So if you're looking for a little extra cash, Terry, seeing you will have you won't have a lot of free time.
I'm not going to have much
free time.
Mm-hmm.
Here are the list for the best jobs for seniors, and we are seniors, whether we want to believe it or not, because in 2 years I'll be 60. Oh boy, just saying it just doesn't feel real. Is that a good thing when you feel young at heart?
I guess.
Right? Young at heart? I don't know. You're not helping me at all here. So you can be a delivery driver. Is that something you want to do?
I wouldn't mind doing that because I don't mind being in the car.
My uncle did it here. He just retired lately, but he did a delivery driver for a parts store, Uncle Dick. So he went all over the place. You could be a virtual assistant. You could work from home. You can control your own schedules. You can find virtual assistance roles to be perfect fit. And this might be something you might want to. You could do it if you could do it from home. Be someone's virtual assistant.
I wouldn't mind doing something I could do from home.
Maybe you could do some consulting. Your bank expertise, maybe you do have that.
Banking and school things like.
Because it says here, consulting can be ideal for a lot of seniors. Maybe they still want to, whatever profession they were in, maybe they'd like to pass on some of that knowledge. And it could help business owners. It could help organizations. I think that's part of why some people don't want to retire. They're afraid that maybe if they really like the job, won't have the opportunity to continue to do that. And if you can consult and give someone some wisdom, I think that'd be a good. You're just not helping me at all.
Well, I know, and then there's like child advocacy because some of these kids come up from such screwed up families that they need an advocate that's actually out for their interests.
Yeah.
Like some of these parents, they just want the money and Social Security and this and that, and they're not thinking of what's best for the child.
Yeah. Retail, obviously. I always said I wouldn't mind the guy that does the Sam's Club. He just does
checks you out.
Yeah, he does the phone, and then he does 1, 2, 3. Have a nice day.
Mm-hmm.
Phone 1, 2, 3, or the receipt.
He
boom.
counts
1,
how
2,
many
3,
items
done.
you have, and then
Well, I don't even know if they do that.
I think they count the items.
Well, he's doing a pretty good job when it's all. We've had some pretty big orders. There's no way he counted them all because you're supposed to count them before, and then you put the check mark, which I don't know. They're asking you to be honest,
Right?
and so they're taking your word for it, which is a lot to ask. Because sometimes you miss, sometimes
and then some people miss on purpose with a great big TV. Or
exactly. You should be able to see that though. But anyway, so retail's a possibility. If you were going to do a retail, what would you want to be in clothing?
I probably would want to do clothing, like one of my favorite clothing stores, because I have a lot of nice clothes that I could wear then when I went to work.
Yeah, but you're just going to a retail store. So if you buy all these nice clothes, where are you going to wear them? You going to wear them around the house, or
you wear them to work?
So you're going to wear the nice, but you're not talking suits.
I'm clothing,
we're just talking,
no, like what I have on now.
Yeah,
like,
it's a nice dress.
Or,
that's not a t-shirt dress. That is
it is kind of like
that's a t-shirt dress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So retail, if you're going to do retail, that would be more of a clothing type situation for you. And then lastly is the healthcare industry. Do they still do like the candy stripes type stuff for hospitals?
I don't know. I know that a lot of senior citizens volunteer at the front desk at the hospital.
But that's volunteer.
Yeah, and that's volunteer, and you can go in and like say you're in the hospital. I go up and say, "Hey, what room is he in?" And they'll look it up for you.
Right. But they don't.
It's like an information desk, and all they can do is tell you where the departments are and whether someone's, got a room.
They probably only do like a couple hours a day. They probably don't do.
Yeah, they probably do four or five at the most, probably, maybe 6. But I wouldn't think that they would do long hours because they're volunteers.
Let's finish up with your best. Don't knock it till you try it. Some people would frown on this stuff. Some people say, hey, don't knock it till you try it. So this is what some of the don't knock it till you try it suggestions that came from the internet. You know how good the internet is. So don't knock it until you try it, sleeping naked. I guess it depends on, we didn't have a very warm bed. We were sleeping on an ice cube. So it's very hard to sleep on a water bed that is not heated. I'm going to tell you, it sucks. I don't care if you had a parka on. That thing's going to suck the heat, whatever it can find out of you. But sleeping naked, I've done it. I don't mind it.
When it's hot out, I like that.
Yeah, I like it too, especially when it's really, that 80-degree night where it's not getting, I do too. shot of whiskey chased by kosher dill pickle juice. Boy, that sounds different.
Well, if you don't like pickles, you're up a pickle.
You say, shot of whiskey, hold the pickle. Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. What do you think of that?
That might be good.
Huh? We should try that.
It'd be all melty. It might be kind of runny.
Because we've done, obviously, grilled cheese. I just wonder if we should do that as a
grilled peanut
butter
butter
and then
jelly.
come back and do our...
well, it's kind of like when you put peanut butter and jelly on your toast.
That's true.
So it would be good.
I would think so. I think it would be a mess, though. Would it ruin our pan?
No, I think you would have to pay attention to. You can't go corner to corner to edge with every bit of everything.
Peanut butter jelly in the middle, right? Mm-hmm. Butter on the outsides.
Mm-hmm. And then grill it.
You wouldn't put peanut butter on the outsides.
Oh, no. You make a mess. Then.
That would be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
you could do mayonnaise on the outside too, like we've done with our
mayonnaise, grilled cheese, and sandwich.
Well, you put mayonnaise on that side to grill the grilled cheese. We've done that before. Those ones that we've done with pepperoni, cheese. But they put mayonnaise on it instead of butter to grill it.
All right. Well, we might have to try both and just see what it. And finally, going to the movie theater by yourself. See, I wouldn't want to go to the movie theater by myself. Would you?
It depends on what the movie was, how much I was into it.
By yourself? Would that be? Well, you wouldn't have to worry about anybody talking to you.
I mean, yeah, I just, if I lived alone, like say I was a widow or something, I don't think I would not do anything the rest of my life just because I had to wait for someone to do it with.
Yeah.
Like if I called a couple friends and they didn't want to go and I really wanted to see this movie, I might go by myself.
It's just bad now.
I mean, I've gone to other things by myself.
We don't have a lot of close movie theaters anymore, so you'd have to either go to South Hills or down to Cabela's.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a long drive, yeah.
I guess if you just wanted to listen to a podcast, ladies and gentlemen, if you're heading to the movie theater and by yourself, you might want to listen to
the podcast
Just Talking Out Loud.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to our podcast on the way.
Yeah.
All right, last but not least, I think I said that the last time, but let's just do one more. What is the most stressful time of the day? You have any idea? Did a study on this. Now, would you say, let's do before we were married, would you say you were a morning person? This is when you were, before marriage. Were you a morning person or were you more of an afternoon person?
I probably was a night owl.
Yeah, I think I've changed you sort of. You're more now of a morning because I've always been a morning person. I've never been an afternoon. Just not an afternoon person. I do my best work in the mornings, sometimes at night, but mostly in the mornings.
Yeah, you've got me into your routine. 5 o'clock in the morning, the light goes on.
No. Let's get this straight because this is important. You say this story all the time.
The most stressful time of my day is from 7:50 to 8:30.
Oh, you're so close. But you say this story all the time. You tell everybody who puts the light on at 5 o'clock. You are the one that told me
I have to
you
get up.
want to get up at 5 because you want to be able to do the stretching you do for your back. You want to be able, and you're still, running around like a chicken with your head cut off. So it's not me that just turns on the light and tell you to get up. Because on the weekends, there's been times you sleep till 8.
Yeah,
lately.
But not
all the time. But
I'm usually awake at 5, and then I'm like, oh, good, it's Saturday. But
right when you've had some bad nights, we have done that.
I've had some really bad migraines. Whenever that happens, I've been having migraines from being at school, and
I was wrong. You were actually right on the money. This says now the recent study found that 7:23 a.m. is the most stressful time of the day. The average person experiences an average of 3 dramas a day.
Come to my school.
Listen to this one. Women having their first around 7:50.
7:50 is. You know why? You know why I said 7:50? No, I said 7:50.
Oh,
7:50 is the first bell at school.
Okay.
And I sometimes have 5 kids waiting outside because they missed the first bell and they're late for school. So they're coming in to sign in. I have to put a hall pass in for each one of them. Also, I have student teachers coming in at that time sometimes, but a lot of them are coming in earlier now. and I have, I'm finishing up work and I'm trying to get early dismissals into the computer and this and that. And I usually have people waiting to go to class.
Your first drama is 7:50 while men maintain their peace until 8:43 a.m. So 7:23, yours is 7:50, men 8:43. So those are your most stressful times.
And that will go away if I retire at that time. Anyhow, it might be later or earlier, depending on when
traffic.
I have to be. Yes, on traffic and when I have to be
on traffic
with my grandchildren.
All right, that's it. That was my last. I had other things planned, but we wanted to pay homage to Aneka, so we did that, and we learned a little bit about. A little bit of everything. Our most stressful time of the day. Don't knock it till you try it. Might have to try the grilled cheese or the grilled peanut butter and jelly. And we still want to do our Oreo cookie thing. We got to do that. And,
we have to do that.
And we want to do the Dr. Pepper challenge with Zach and Sarah. So we might do that too. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the show. Every Monday we have a new episode that comes out. You'll be alerted, and you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter at Just Talking Out Loud. And we really do appreciate everyone that takes time out of their day to listen. We are out.
Have a blessed week.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's show.